Welcome to Tam's Say Goodbye. She's ready to take you to new heights. All you gotta do is open your mind. Take a ride and a deep dive into your life.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Tamara, and today we're going to talk about the INTJ in love. So when you think of an INTJ, what do you think of? Probably think of visionary. You probably think of everything can be improved. And that also applies to a romantic relationship. These people are extremely independent. So I know there are some INTJs watching, and I know there are people who are curious and interested in an INTJ, and they think, what would it be like to be in a relationship with an INTJ long term? So I'm going to paint a picture of you. And, INTJs, give us some insight. Like, what is your number one thing that you're looking for in love, in a mate? Like, what stands out for you, I guess, to make that relationship work, or that would make you incredibly happy? I think no matter what your type is, you want your mate to look at you as amazing, wonderful. You want them to give you respect. You want them to compliment you. If you're a woman, you're going to want your mate to say, "Wow, you look good in that," or you look really pretty today. So, even though INTJs can be a tougher type, they still need some of those things, okay? So just keep that in mind as I share with you some things about the INTJ and what it's like to be in love with them. So, of course, in a relationship, they're going to be looking for things that can be improved, no matter whether it's a friendship or it's people they work with or they're a romantic partner. So they're going to always have visions of how to make the relationship better, how to make it more perfect. And they have to constantly bounce that against what's realistic. You know what I'm saying? Like, human flaws are going to come into play. So even though they have that urge to improve every part of the relationship, and it doesn't matter how amazing the relationship is, there's always going to be that energy that wants to make it better. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's, okay, we have a system for hanging up our clothes, or we clean up the house every Saturday. Let's make it great. Or, hey, we need to include more activities that we're doing that are fun. What can we do to make this relationship better than it already is? So if you're going on a first date with an INTJ, what may stand out to you is they may come across quite serious, which they can be funny as you get to know them, and they can laugh and joke with you. In fact, they will appreciate someone who can lighten things up and bring the fun out of them, because they do like to have fun. So it kind of has to be sometimes brought out of them. But if you enjoy an intellectually stimulating conversation, they are your person, because you can have a deep conversation with them, which is, I think, really awesome. I love that about them, because you can talk to them about all kinds of subjects. People often joke that an INTJ can stare holes into you, and that they may, be able to see through you, but they may not be necessarily seeing through you, even though they will think about the words that you say and figure out the meaning. But you have to remember, some of that is just introversion. Introverts need some think time to gather their thoughts, to figure out what they want to say, to put their words together at times. So it could just be they're kind of in a trance. They're in a deep thought. They may not even be thinking that deeply about you, so to speak. So these are complex thinkers. They're complex conversationalists, which can challenge you to grow and also to learn through a conversation with them. But they may not open up so quickly. I can remember getting to know an INTJ once, and I did feel intimidated. I'm not going to lie. Until one day, the INTJ decided to just open up and say, here's a little bit about me. Let me tell you about my background, a little bit about my life and what I've been through. And it, that just, after that, I just felt like, wow, I needed that. Not that I just needed that, but it just, I was just like, okay, I'm ready to be friends, you know? So you might want to keep that in mind, INTJs. That might be a way to kind of open things up. Is just to share, be a little bit personable with the person that you're getting to know, and it can make a huge difference. I tend to get along very well with INTJs. I have had a couple of situations where I felt like maybe I triggered them, or I don't know. But sometimes people can see them as very biting, or that their comments are sharp. Sometimes people can be intimidated by them, or and they're not intending to come across that way. But in some situations, like an argument, they may not, they may struggle to see your point of view and what you feel that they've done wrong. So they have to kind of be open to that. Like, you know what, you may be coming across in a way that's unintentional. So I guess in other words, there may be times when they may struggle to admit fault. Here's something else for you guys to think about, because you have an endless stream of improvements that need to be made on other people, on yourself, and it's never going to end. Infinity, that's kind of how it works. Like it's going to go on forever. So you might want to bring down that need, or that eye for seeing things that need to be improved in a person, especially in a romantic relationship. Bring it down about 30%. So let's say you do it about 70% of the time. Some of that is awesome. So I don't want you to change who you are. Don't ever do that, because the person who's with you, they're going to love you for who you are. So I think their eye for improvement elevates things. It makes things better. It takes things to new levels and heights. And I just think it's amazing, and it's necessary for a great product. Let's say you're working on a church project together and you want it to be amazing. Definitely use that gift. But when it comes to someone personally, if you are constantly finding improvements in the way they talk, the way they walk, the way they dress, the way they act, the way they move, that can start damaging the self-esteem of someone else. That's not pouring into their love tank. So you might want to use kind of a different type of trick. And that doesn't mean that you never say anything about anything. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying take it down a few notches. So, for example, if you want your mate to dress a little sexier, when you catch them wearing something that you really like, then you're going to capitalize on it then and say, oh, wow, I love that look on you. That look, you look beautiful, or you look gorgeous, or wow, you look so handsome in that white shirt, the way it's made, it just, wow, where'd you get that from? I really love that on you. Like that's your style. And in relationships, people want to please you and they want to make you happy. So don't always come at it with I've been thinking you really need to change your dress style. You don't dress pretty enough, or you're so sloppy with the way, just frame it a little different, and also be willing to let a few things go. So, what about conflict? I think INTJs can handle conflict pretty well, actually. I don't think that they're afraid of it or would say, "Oh, that definitely we can't ever have conflict." I think they would see it as a chance to transform things into a learning experience, and they believe that they can figure out a positive outcome. And I think they're willing to do that, and just keep in mind that in a relationship, what you want from each other is support and understanding. That's really the base of what everybody wants, is to feel supported and understood. And so just figure out your mate's love language and figure out how you can be supportive and understanding with them. So, of course, I think INTJs are able to make a commitment, even though it depends on, I don't know, it seems like sometimes men have a bit of a more difficult time with commitment than women do. So, that could be an issue. I think when they are in a commitment, they want to make sure that, hey, we understand what we're getting ourselves into, right? So, what is the intent? What's the reality of the situation? And as far as ending a relationship, that's going to be hard for anyone. If you're connected to a person, then you're not going to want to end a relationship. But once it is over, then an INTJ is going to move on to other goals, and they're going to learn from the experience, and they may come across, their behavior might show that they've moved on and that, hey, I'm over it, I'm done. But in their minds, they are going to probably struggle just like anyone else with just trying to figure out what happened, why it had to end, what went wrong. So nobody wants to end a relationship. That's a super painful thing. So INTJs, what is it that you need most in a relationship? Please let us know in the comments. Also, I've written a book, and it's called The Workplace Narcissist. I think INTJs can handle narcissists probably pretty darn well. So you can check out my book. I talk about my strategies for dealing with difficult people. It could be in the workplace, it could be in your personal life. So even though I think they can handle them pretty well, it doesn't mean that a narcissist wouldn't have some damaging effects on an INTJ. Nobody really enjoys tangling with a narcissist, but I think, yeah, it would they wouldn't like it. I mean, I've seen that situation before. I think it could be very hurtful. They could get their feelings hurt, all of that. So that's a challenge that I think we're having to face more and more. So check out my book. I think you'll really like it. It's on Amazon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Personality disorders, stay away from them narcs. Watch your personality target, you know who you are. Welcome to Tam Psych Advice.